Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Transfer Agenda show with the LFC Daytrippers. It's me, Keith Plunkett. I was going to say I'm going to be the host tonight, but I think it'll be a fluid situation, Grizz. I think we don't have a leader here. It's more of a team effort.
Absolutely. There's only one Hitler amongst our ranks, and he's not here today. The rest of us are all one of the same of the one. So call it what you want. Absolutely. Just like transfers are fluid, this show is going to be a fluid.
And Eid Mubarak, Grizz, to all, I don't know if I said that right, to all Muslim people around the world celebrating.
Absolutely.
Another one.
Thank you.
Another one.
Thank you very much. Eid Mubarak to everyone celebrating.
Because I know we've a lot of listeners that will be celebrating. So
exactly. I'm actually. Let's not get into the technicalities of it, but there's it's spread over 2 days, so I'm celebrating tomorrow and today. So Eid Mubarak to everyone who's celebrating all around the world from the LFC Daytrippers, and so that's the other way. Exactly.
Indeed. No, it is. It's great because, as we said, we've got a lot of Muslim listeners, and it's a big deal on the calendar. So, hope everyone enjoys it and does what needs to be done.
Absolutely. Well, eating loads.
I've seen the food pics. I've seen the food pics already from Grizz. I think Grizz has been celebrating Eid since last week by the food pics that he sent. So
he's like Rocky, isn't he?
It's a normal night for him, isn't it?
Yeah. The myth is I celebrate Eid every day. So that's what the myth goes. So it's not a problem for me. It's not a different day for me.
Well, this is it.
But everyone's sorry, Keith. Keith. Everyone's giving me stick in the cricket about the Pakistan cricket team. Look, when Pakistan win, I support Pakistan. When England win, I support England. So it's a win-win situation for me. You know what I mean? Tell the Irish, call the Irish out or call India out in Avi's case. But for me, when England and Pakistan are playing, it's a win-win. Whoever wins.
There, a nice bit of fence sitting there, Grizz. We like that.
You know what I mean?
It's the start, as you mean, to go on one, I'd say. And it's not just me and Grizz here. It's also the main man all the way from the west coast of the US of A. Avi, how are you?
Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to today. Listen, season starts pretty much. For me, pre-season is the season starting. So now it's good to be back. And it was great to see the lads on LFC TV today, earlier on.
Yeah, and I know, look, it's a Transfer Agenda show, lads, but I want to talk about the games and the sort of preparation into the matches today. It's a weird situation, we're playing 2 30-minute games. Some mixed teams. We played Wacker Innsbruck and Stuttgart in 2 matches today. Grizz, what did you make? We'll deal with the first one first. Wacker Innsbruck, what did you make? The team lineup, any surprises? Or
I think the idea was, and it was clear, to try to sort of quality-wise, like match up with the 2 teams. So Stuttgart were a far better team than Wacker Innsbruck. I've said that right, haven't I?
Yeah.
You guys thought I'm going to fuck that up. Shame on you. Where Avi was waiting for me to fuck that one up and pounce on me, but Wacker Innsbruck were the lesser of the 2 teams we're playing, and therefore the team that we selected in that first 30-minute training drill was significantly weaker. I suppose it had to be. A lot of our big boys are away. I know Diogo Jota is joining tomorrow, and then a couple of them join next week.
Robbo, he's still off, is he?
Yeah, Robbo's off. Robbo's got an extended. Yeah, Robbo's got an extended week off. But so the lineup in the first game was kind of weak. Who was I excited to see? I'm not going to sit here and say I was excited to see any of them, to be honest with you. In that first lineup, Trent was captaining it. Wanted to see if he's recovered from it. Well, he's obviously recovered from his injury because he was playing, but see what kind of form he was in, or what kind of rhythm, if he had any rhythm. He didn't have much rhythm, but it's difficult. But it's difficult in a 30-minute drill. I tell you what. I was impressed with the young left back who's recently signed a professional contract with us, Owen Beck.
What's he, Ian Rush's nephew or something?
He's Ian Rush's nephew, and he's actually is managed by my good friend, who's his agent. So shout out to Saul, who was the agent of Owen Beck. And I thought, and I'm not saying that because of the connections and ties, but he was actually quite decent. Divock scored his important, pivotal, goal that he usually scores, and I hope that clubs around the world are watching.
Departure goal. We can call it the departure goal, isn't it? Divock's departure goal. There you go.
I'd like to think it's a departure goal, but the fucker won't leave. So, I hope everyone was watching his great performance, tucking that penalty away, and we get a bit of anything.
I'm getting asked about the shirt I have on tonight.
Newcastle.
Avi thought it was Newcastle. Someone else mentioned that was Chelsea. It's not. It's actually the team that I manage and coach myself. Garbrain and Paddy Lawson of the Daytrippers. We look after an under 15 team, and it's a club called Stella Maris. It's a big Dublin schoolboy club. John Giles, Keith Andrews, a lot of Irish internationals came through it, and we've started with them only a few weeks ago. But I was at training there tonight and only got in the door, so I didn't have time to change. So yeah, I'm not wearing a Chelsea top. I'm not wearing any sexy South American gear. It's just a local club that I manage. There, Shane Downs is saying he played there when he was 15. Great setup with Shane's. It's there'll be a lot of Dublin schoolboys would have gone through a lot of the clubs in around the city, some big teams there. So yeah, it's what we're doing. We're looking after helping the lads, because we can come on and talk gauntlet about football all the time and talk shy, but it's nice to get out there and actually do it in real life and let kids think that you know what you're talking about. So,
what a player Johnny Giles was as well. You mentioned
Johnny Giles is the president, the honorary president of the club. It's it's a big Dublin club. Patsy O'Brien's thrown in, Stella Maris, Joey O'Brien. There's a list of them, that went through there. A lot of players that went through Stella and went on to play for Ireland and play in England. So yeah, a nice little club. But like I said, it's only on because I'm only in the door, so I didn't have time to change.
Exactly.
Anyway,
some people are saying that Grizz, you missed out on Cage Gordon. I call him Cage Gordon.
Cage. God, have some respect on someone's name for once.
Yeah, no, but I know. But because I've started calling him Cage Gordon, I'm going to carry on for until it really pisses people off. But absolutely, I missed out on Cage Gordon. He looked very good. How old is he, Keith?
He's only young. He's 16.
My bad.
Yeah, and a lot of praise from Rooney wasn't there about this kid, and you can see why. I thought he handled himself really well. Got a few rough challenges, got up, carried on. Yeah, I think I definitely want to look out for. It was a shame that the likes of Musilowski, there was another youngster as well who wasn't. Balaguise is injured. Yeah. So it was a shame that they didn't get a run out. It would have been nice to see them, but
it's nice for the young lads to get that chance, isn't it? I'll quickly run through the team for people that aren't aware of it. So the great Loris Cardia started in goals. Nice to see Loris back, isn't it? Oh. Just me. Okay, move on.
Carry on.
Trent
Avi supports all of them. Yeah. Don't carry on me. You were saying, great.
I'm not gonna insult a player like you did with Origi. As long as they're at the club, you respect them and you support them. But once they're gone, that's it. Goodbye forever.
People might be wondering why we're going to talk about the matches today, but it is a sort of leads into a lot of the transfer stuff that's going on. So Trent, Joel, the enigma that has Ben Davis played, and Owen Beck were the back four. Tyler Morton, Leighton Clarkson, and Jay Kane, a very young midfield starting in that game. And then Katie Gordon, Taki, and Divock up front. It was an interesting team, but it's a very pre-season team, isn't it? Like there's no I don't know about you boys, but I wasn't expecting too much out of it. And it was just good to see them out having a run out and having a game.
Avi?
Yep, it was a good run out. It was see the first game, especially these 30-minute run outs. Today was just a game to relax the muscles, to get back into sort of some kind of practice. Not much for rhythm, but it was good. Look, I've been big on Leighton Clarkson. It was great that he got a little run out. I thought he was good. I thought he was tenacious in some parts. Thought his passing was good. There were some bits that I didn't like of his game. Now I'm being overcritical because it was just a practice sort of run out. But yeah, nothing that we saw from an individual. Great to see Ben Davis finally appear from the shadows. You know, he does exist. And yeah, I thought it was one of those games that it was just a good run up for the lads. Cade Gordon, yeah, it's great for the youngsters, you know, to come on and get some game time. And yeah, Taki still exists, and hopefully Taki stays with us as well. Taki looks as if he's built up a bit of muscle as well. I thought he looks as if he's bulked up a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people. Sorry,
yeah, go ahead, Chris. Now go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's good we take on board a lot of the people in the chat what they're mentioning, and a lot of people have mentioned Taki and the likes of Ben Davies, and it's true. You know, it was good to see Ben Davies. I didn't think he done much wrong. There was one interception where he done really well, but it's good to know that he actually exists. And Taki, I think we're split here as well. I don't know how three of us can be split. There's got to be a majority somewhere. But I think I want him sold. I don't think he has a future here because of a number of reasons. And I think one of them being I just don't think he's got the required quality to step in one of the three currently when they rested. And I just don't think he's got the physical attributes to play in the midfield. And if we're going to persist with this 4-3-3, then he's still one of our sellable assets if we're looking to sell, some of our players. I know. Go on, I'll let you guys.
Who would you let go? Okay, who would you let go first of, Origi or Minamino?
Oh, absolutely Origi. Absolutely Origi. But I've made that clear, I think, from my initial outburst on Origi. But Taki, go on, guys.
One thing I'd say about Taki, it's easy to be deceived, but looking at a lot of the inside training videos, I do think he looks stronger, and I know they're not tackling and they're not going full pelt in these things, but I don't know what it is. He looked good. Maybe he's just familiar. He's in Salzburg or whatever, and familiarity brings out a bit of latent confidence in him or whatever, but it's a strange one because I don't know. We bought Taki for what, 7.5?
7.5.
Yeah. How much do you think we'd get for him? Like,
I think 11, 12 million we get for him.
I'd be very lucky. I'd be very happy, surprised if you got that 10 million, and I'd snap your hands off.
See, I'd keep him in the squad, to be honest, for 10 million. Like, I don't think I think he was unlucky, and a lot of people don't rate him, right? He was unlucky, and even when they got rid of him to Southampton, Klopp came out and put his hands up. And I know a good manager will do that, will sort of fall on his sword and take the blame unnecessarily. But you always felt like Taki was the sort of wrong place, wrong time signing. The COVID happened, and there was no integration, and it was a tough one. I wouldn't sell him for 10 million. I wouldn't sell him for anything less than 15. To be honest, I think if you're not getting 15 million for him, I'd keep him in the squad.
But by Leverkusen, they were very, very highly interested in him in January, and they did table a bid, but we said no. And then sent him on loan to Southampton. So there is space for him at the club. I think there's.
How much was that bid or claim to bid? Because there's no way by Leverkusen have got any money. They've got no money.
14 million like Leverkusen.
Absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance.
Well, that was the talk, and
there's no chance. There's absolutely zero chance that we would have said 14 million. No,
not 14, 14, 1-4, Grizz.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way Leverkusen would have offered 40 million first, because you need to have a look at their finances. They're absolutely all over the place. They're broke, and we would never have said 14, especially if we were going to send. Because me and Keith, remember, and Gav, I think it was, we had a massive debate when Southampton came in for him. Do you remember, Keith? Yeah. We done a show and we said, if Klopp is getting rid of you in the middle of a pandemic, right, when he needs every single player of his squad, that's not a good sign. And I don't think, there's no way we would have refused 14 million. Right now, 14 million is an absolute dream for Taki Minamino.
There's not much of a difference if we get
Did it come down to our old friend, the homegrown quotable? We brought in Kabak, and it's conveniently we had to get rid of someone from the squad, and that happened to be Taki. I don't know. Like, yeah. I see the glass half full with a lot of these players until they leave, and then if they're not good enough, they're not good enough. So I don't know. For some reason, I have a feeling Taki could be part of the squad this year. Instead of why buy a player when we have Taki? throw a little grenade in there and see how that goes.
Go on, see how that goes.
Look, the team was there today. And just so people know, we're going to go on to sort of transfer stuff in a minute. We're just going to talk about the games because it was good to have the lads back. But the real start of the show today, lads, in game one was that sensational Ronnie Valdo playing up front for Wacker Innsbruck. What a name. Ronnie
Valdo, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ronnie Valdo, like a Ronaldinho Rivaldo clone. It's like Pro Evo, isn't it? It's like a Pro Evo name, that one.
One of those fake ones. You can't get a license for the players. Yeah, exactly.
But it was good because I think at the same time, I think Avi, you was playing a World 11 game, watching a World game 11 game or something.
The El Clasico, Madrid versus Barcelona. What a game!
And like this chap, if he could have got a combination of two players as his name, he couldn't have chosen better than Ronnie and Ronaldo and Rivaldo. I'm like, what a geezer, geezer, and fair play to him. Yeah. Great name.
He's not got a bad goal scoring record either. He's scored 62.
There we go. Are you really going to tell us
62 and 78 in the club that he's before he played for Innsbruck, Wacker, whatever you call him. He scored 62 and 78. Wacker Innsbruck. He scored 62 and 78. So he's prolific. He's just a bit old, unfortunately, but he wasn't a bad player.
One to watch.
No, he's 32. He's 32.
You never know.
Past his
What's your mate at Lille that's 36 and is banging them in now?
Oh, Burak Yilmaz.
The legend.
Burak can do it.
But he's
can do it at 36. And Ronaldo can do it at 36 or whatever. And Messi is doing it at 34. Ronnie Valdo. Watch this space, kids. Watch this space. Ronnie Valdo.
He's going to do a scouting report on him next week or something.
It was like the lad I told you about the other day. The striker, remember they went off injured against in the Gold Cup. Who was playing?
What was his name?
Jamaica against
Arachidi?
Yeah, Arachidi. To want to watch went off.
There was one you mentioned.
Played for Martinique or something, wasn't it, in the Gold Cup?
Martinique. He was in the New York Red Bull second team. I told you he was doing well. He was second team before that. Well, look, enough joking about. The second game went off then. So the match finished 1-1. Anyway, the first game finished 1-1. The second game we went into, and the lineup for this one was Griz's mate Adrian in goal, Connor Bradley at right back, Konate, Reece Williams and Simicas. The midfield's a lot stronger here, so it's Oxlade, Chamberlain, Naby Keita and Milner. And then was it Harvey in midfield?
It was Harvey.
Harvey in midfield. Yeah. And then it was Ox, Mane and Salah up front. A lot stronger this time around, wasn't it?
Now we start.
The opposition was obviously a higher standard as well. But what did you make of this game, boys?
Shall I go?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
I thought Elliott was impressive in the midfield three. I really liked the look of him in the midfield three. His passing was good, crisp. He was trying stuff. He was constantly asking for the ball. When a young player constantly asks for the ball, he's fearless. And that's a great trait to have in a youngster. He was asking for it constantly. Whether he was losing it after that or not, he was asking for the ball all the time. Really good trait. I enjoyed him in the midfield three. Ox looked kind of sharp in a false nine. Still not a fan, though, of him being there. He shouldn't even be an option, though, but he looked okay. Mane, I thought he just look, I don't want to get overcritical now, but I just feel that he has lost that sort of yard of pace that he usually relies on. I thought Simicas was the best of the bunch. I really thought he was good. He looked fit. He looked a little bit sharp. His delivery wasn't bad. Set up the goal for Mane. And it was good to see the big man, IK5, Konate. He looks huge. And I think there was one moment where he'd sort of like the ball ran over and then he caught up with the defender very quickly. So we know his recovery pace is pretty impressive already.
Yeah. Grizz, what about you? What did you make of it?
The second team got me really excited.
Yeah.
Like it got me excited as food gets me excited. like it did. That midfield, I mean, I tweeted a brilliant, amazing tweet, which got like...
Usually is.
Where I sort of put out the formation. Yeah, have a look at it tomorrow. Check it out. Give it a like. So, because when you see the team lineup, most people thought that Elliott would play wide right.
Yeah.
Mole through the middle and then Ox and Milner and Keita midfield. But I thought we might see especially from what Klopp was talking about, Ox being the false nine in training, etc., etc. We played Ox and I thought he was lively. I really thought he was lively. Please God, I wish the kid some luck and health, and I hope he doesn't pick up any injuries. That's the main thing, because a fit and energetic Oxlade-Chamberlain could be a wild card for this season. And I will hold my hands up and say I said the same last season in terms of Naby and Ox. I said they could be our wild cards, and we know the rest is history. But if they can stay fit, which is the biggest if in history, they could be 2 wild cards for us, because you can see the class and quality in them when they're playing. Again, I thought the right back, the much talked about right back, Conor Bradley impressed me again. So both young fullbacks in each half impressed me. Again, I agree with Avi. Tsimikas was the star for me, not only because of the setup, but his general performance. The tenacity was back.
Yeah, he was getting stuck into.
Yeah, you could see that he's fully fit, and this season will have done him good. I don't, I know he didn't do us no good, but from a personal level for him, you know what I mean. He's got a chance to see the setup, and I think now he's in a position where you'd like to think he'll be in a position to give Robbo a fair rest in the odd game or two.
That's a fair point, Chris. That before we move off Tsimikas, it is a fair point, because we brought him in last summer, and we didn't know about him. Let's be honest. We had Harry Simeo came on and spoke to us about him, knowing the background from Greece, and he bigged him up, and he looked good in the little glimpses we were seeing of him. But he just had a bad year, and that injuries and COVID and things like that. It went. What could have gone wrong went wrong for him, and it's a fresh start really for him, isn't it? And I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, move him on." I don't think you're going to move him on. I think the attributes that he has suit what we need to allow us to give Robbo a rest. If he's fit and if he's forward, and there's a lot of ifs in this show so far, but you'd like to think that the season we've just had won't be repeated this year, and we will see the best of the likes of Tsimikas. He's never going to be a main starter for the team, but if he can relieve Robbo from time to time and allow him to have a rest, it's a good asset to have, isn't it?
Keith, he has recovery pace as well. He's quick.
He's very quick.
I think that's what we look in our fullbacks. Like, you look at someone like Nico, he's not the quickest, but you look at someone like Robertson, he's very quick on the left side. So I think Tsimikas, hopefully, again, stays injury-free, doesn't get any old, I know he suffered from COVID for quite a bit as well last season. Hopefully he stays injury-free, and he can be people say he's a decent backup. I think he can become even more of a backup. Like, he can become something else other than a backup. I think he's a really good player. He's technically good. He got bombs forward. I don't know why you're laughing, because it's true. He bombs forward.
No, I'm not laughing. Why do you think I'm laughing at you?
You got your Abu mug and you're having your tea.
I'm not laughing at you. You're making some very valid points.
I think genuinely he can provide healthy competition for Robbo. And Robbo might need that as well. Robbo might need just to kick up the backside.
Well, Kev O'Sullivan is saying, he feels that he's, better than just a backup, and, that his game is based on overlaps and getting in behind, which is, it's similar to the way Robbo plays, whereas on the other side, when we've got Trent, Robbo's not an orthodox fullback, but he's a left full who gets in behind and delivers in. We've got a replacement there, in Tsimikas for this season. It's harder to do it on the other side, but you just touched on Conor Bradley there, who's a name that's been getting mentioned a lot. Do you think he's ready to step up to the first team?
It's so difficult to judge after 30 minutes. I've seen him once and today, so it's nothing to judge on. You're asking an absolute child to step in the shoes of what we call a generational fullback in Trent. So it's some ask, but I liked what I saw. I will say that I did. I think I can tell a player very early on, unlike some. I've got an eye for a player, right? So I think it's fair to say that this guy did impress. He's very, very highly thought of, isn't he? Is he Irish, Keith?
Irish, yeah.
Is he Irish?
Yeah.
Northern Irish. Yeah, he's Northern Irish.
Okay. What, that don't
Still
count?
Irish.
Yeah, I was
Well,
gonna say,
it's not Irish war, Republic.
I
You know what I mean?
okay.
I don't want to show myself up here. Is he from Killeray, somewhere from Ireland? Killeray?
Couldn't tell you.
Killeray?
Killer K, Killer A.
Yeah, are you asking us? Are you telling us? Because you started off telling us, and then you ended up
No, I
asking
can't
us.
pronounce it myself, Chris. I'm very bad at that. Someone did mention that he's from that part of Ireland.
Lovely part.
Well, I'm sure it is, but yeah, no, he did. He looked fantastic. I must admit, I liked his assurity. I liked the way that he was trying to find players, trying to find the ball to their feet instead of trying to just lump the ball in there. And you can tell he's been groomed the right way into playing football the right way, the way Klopp wants to play. Bodes well. I think he's nowhere near ready. In a direct answer to your question, I don't think he's near enough ready. But yeah, he looked good. Any other standouts?
Before we move on, Killer K. He's from Castle Derrick.
There you go. I was going to say that was the second option.
That was the next one. Yeah,
that was the third option.
I was going to run with that. That was on standby.
Killer K.
It's close. Yeah.
He's a highly rated young guy, you know what I mean? And it's, it's like Nico Williams, Keanu Hoover before that. They don't seem to have an issue with giving these young lads a chance as a backup to Trent. And maybe it is down to the fact that you're not going to get a Trent like. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it is just give these lads a chance, and the safety net of a Milner there maybe allows them to do that.
That's why in our squad it's the hardest position to cover, because people are always going to have that psychological comparison that, he's not a Trent. But these right backs, to be a Trent, you need something very, very special. So no, Conor Bradley, you done well again. 17. I think maybe a year too short yet. I think maybe just keep him in the reserves, let him get a few games there, and then assess next summer. But it's great for the lads to be out there on tour in Austria with them.
But this game we went 1-0 behind, and Sadio scored an equaliser. Not much really to talk about, is there? We're not going to give an in-depth match. What did you think, Riz? Were you impressed with Sadio?
I think you was away in the WhatsApp when I done one of my impeccable timing tweets where I said Mane's having an absolute stinker, and then next second he tapped it in, and all the lads, said, well
Jedi mind trick.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I like that.
But look, great goal, great ball by Milner out to Tsimikas. Was it a first time volleyed inside, or did he take a touch? Can you remember, Avi? I think I can't remember now.
Left foot. It was first time.
First time. And then Sadio Mane on the tap in. Yeah, look, again, pretty much like what Avi said, we're not going to start on Sadio or discuss anything at the moment because they're literally 30-minute training drills.
That's all it is, isn't it? Televoice training match,
But still, Mohamed Salah looked so sharp. I've got to say,
Salah looks
Jesus
like
Christ,
he doesn't go off and let himself go during the off season, does he?
I tell you what, please, I pray that the rest of the team can form the foundation and platform that we have done in the last few years for him, because this guy looks ready to take on the Premier League again and take it by storm.
Yeah, and hopefully the likes of Mane gets that confidence booster. A goal will, even in a training game, will build the confidence going forward. Our friend Motti Tariq, I think from Norway, put this towards the charity of your choice. Let Riz redeem himself. Do you like Jalebi or Gulab Jamun?
Oh, you shagged that, Keith. You've
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't at all. No, he hasn't.
No, he doesn't get a clap for that. It's Jalebi or Gulab Jamun.
I absolutely no, Keith. You was absolutely superb. Fuck knows what have you heard or listened to. That was brilliant by Keith, because I was thinking, I bet Keith lets me read this out. But he was brave enough and he was good.
Say it again, Keith. You like
Jalebi or Gulab Jamun?
Absolutely lovely.
There you go. Good
exactly.
Stuff. Big fans of it.
There's slight difference in dialect is absolutely allowed.
Yeah.
Shut up, Avi. Have you heard yourself trying to say that Irish sound? Exactly.
Go. What is it, lads? What is it?
Moti, thank you for the super chat, and yes, it will go towards the charity that we're
Riz,
trying
how
to
do you
support
pronounce
currently.
it, Riz?
I'm about to, if you give me 30 seconds, if that, I'll finish. So, Jalebi and gulab jamun. Now,
I thought that's what I said, but obviously
now,
not.
yeah. So jalebi, I'm a fan of. So I have no idea how to describe it. People in the chat, if they know how I would describe it, they're both sweet dishes, Keith. They're both sweet items, right?
So this is going along the lines of the old mango lassi chat, is it? It's following on from.
But it's not a drink. So
No.
these two. So I have no idea how to.
Jalebi is like it's like frosted jelly, basically, Keith. And gulab jamun is like a soft cake in sort of
syrup.
The sweet oil syrup, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't.
Not good. It's not good for your arteries. put it that
Sounds
way.
awful.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you won't like any of them. unless
Jalebi
you've got-
in milk is good though. Jalebi in milk.
Yeah, if you dip it in milk. But to answer his question, I'm definitely more of a jalebi man. I often get called gulab jamun on Twitter, and I block the cunts. So if you want to get blocked, call me gulab jamun. I'll block your ass. But apart from that, jalebi, I love jalebi. But thanks for the super chat anyway, Marty.
Thank you very much, Matty. It's it got us talking. It got the multiculturalism going up there. I like that. That's what we're all about here. As Freewood says, gives you diabetes. So may not encourage it. Try it, give it a go. But
Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation.
I think he sent another super chat as well.
Another one.
Yeah. I think it
Why
was
can't you find it? Can you find it?
I haven't got the admin rights for it, but he said happy Eid
Thanks
to everyone.
for
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
Yeah, thanks very much there, Matty.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Eid Mubarak to all our Muslims watching. Yeah, exactly. And we said that, and it's good to share the message. We're all about multiculturalism here. But anyway, boys, the matches are done, and we spoke about them there because it's good to see the Reds back, new gear. It's a bit of buzz looking at the training videos and getting the boys out there. But we've started to see the exits, the carousel starting for the exits. So I know, Avi, you were saying we've got Miller and Grabara that are out the door. What did we get for them too? Liam Miller was 1.5, was he, to Basel?
Yeah, and I think Grabara was 3 million. Was he 3 million? I think.
Did we get 3 million on Grabara?
Kamil Grabara, yeah. Not a bad keeper, to be honest. He's
He's very highly rated, but we've about 20 young keepers in the squad, don't we, that are very highly rated. So if you move them on, you move them on. And then we start seeing the big one. So Grizz, last night the news broke about Marco Grujic going. They didn't know if it was a loan or if it was a permanent deal. Someone said in the chat earlier where Porto still insisting it's a loan. But it is a permanent move, isn't it?
Yeah. It's most certainly a permanent move. I think the slight technicality behind it, from what I've heard and read, is that it's a strange one. It's in terms of they've got to show that it's an obligation to buy, but it's under the term of even if after he's played one game, it becomes permanent. So it's just a technicality issue. But yeah, the main thing is good luck to Grujic.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
First signing, I believe, after Coca. It was Marco Grujic, first signing.
That was the first signing. Yeah, it was Klopp's first signing.
So 5 years ago, I think we got him. I can't remember, but I know we got him and
Red Star Belgrade we got him from.
Yeah, but who's the other person that we got at the same time was it the striker that we got rid of? Were they both bought 5 years ago?
Who?
I know we bought him for 5.3 million, but I don't know what you're talking about now.
What striker?
The Nigerian one we got.
Taiwo Awoniyi. No, he was bought afterwards.
Yeah, I think he might have been afterwards.
Taiwo was bought afterwards, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but yeah, we bought him in the region of 5 million.
Yeah.
We've made that back in loan fees, and we end up selling him for the quoted figures today.
Which is what we heard, and it's £10.35 million or something, is it?
Yeah,
15 million euros or something.
Yeah, something like that. But obviously,
apologies, Grizz. Taiwo's been here since 2015, even before Klopp's even became.
Apologies,
man.
So none of us were right, you know what I mean? But
I think I was
probably more.
I was far more right than you guys.
No, Grizz, you're right. Apologies.
It's okay. There'll be more to come. It's him and. So basically, we both bought them for I think in the region of about 6-7 million, and we've made a nice tidy profit with loan fees. And now today we made 17 million combination.
As you said there, Grizz, we made the transfer fees back on loan fees before today, so that's pure profit, really, isn't it, on the two lads? And we can be cynical about money ball and all these things. But that's how clubs do their business now. You bring in players and you sell them on, and you see other clubs are doing it all the time. But we got 17 million for the two boys and sell-on clause on both of them. Two young players that had a lot of interest. In fairness, the clubs they've gone on loan, they've both done decent and have been highly rated at these clubs. So you never know. A sell-on fee. We're looking at the situation with Luis Alberto at Lazio, weren't we? Where if he's getting talked about 60 million and we've a 30% sell-on with him. What we don't want to happen there is we don't want a swap deal. I think that's a lot of swaps are happening, and that's where it kills your sell-on clause. Because if they were to swap them, you don't get a sell-on clause percentage. Sorry, of a sell-on for a blatant swap deal. But you never know; these deals could prove to be very, very lucrative in the coming years. But those two boys went out. It's a start. It's two out the door, and then they're getting followed up as well with. Avi, will come to you. Harry Wilson is getting strongly linked with a move to Fulham. What do you make of that?
Yeah, a lot of talk, especially in the forums of Fulham. I've got a friend who's a big Fulham season ticket holder at Craven Cottage, and he thinks Harry Wilson is a stick-on. 7 million, rising up to 10, is the talk. So yeah, maybe in the next couple of days. I think Neil Jones as well confirmed it in the Echo that Harry Wilson was the next one to go out. And then you presume, Shaq. There's talk of Shaq. And then Nat Phillips, who didn't start today, he didn't start in either games. So, maybe I'll be, precautionary that he's kept on the sideline while we negotiate a fee with Brighton, maybe. So there's 3-4 that sort of we can look to sort of offload.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying that 7 million seems a bit low for Harry Wilson.
It is going to seem low, but you got to compare it to sort of the situation we're in and other clubs are in. We refused 13 million last season. Of course, hindsight's wonderful sometimes. Sometimes you take a risk knowing that the value of a player can rise or will rise and he'll have a good loan season, and then Euros coming up or was supposed to be coming up for him and Wales. So we played the wild card that, we could get more for him. But it wasn't to be. I don't think we'll accept 7 million. No. If the talk is from Fulham, I think we're probably edging towards, raise it by a few, get that double figures.
Yeah.
10 million, and we'll happily part with a young player who was destined for great things when he first stepped on. Keith, I don't know what your opinion is on him. I just don't think he had. I don't think he'd done anything outstanding. He'd done a lot of things really well. Like, technically he was sound, very good deliverer of set pieces, brilliant free kick taker, got a good strike on him. Not blessed with amazing pace, not blessed with amazing.
That was his downside. He didn't have acceleration.
So exactly. So I think he's one of those in the mold of Woodburn, that didn't just quite,
I think he's going to have a good career though, Grizz. Wilson, like he'll be there or thereabouts in the Premiership. I think he's a Premiership player.
I think down the line he could be a Premiership player, but I just think he was never ever good enough for us. And a lot of people used to say, "Oh, give him a chance," because the one thing with Harry Wilson is he does numbers when he goes out. He does goals and assists from, or is he a winger? See, that's the problem I have with Harry Wilson. I don't know where he is, and he's not quick enough, and he's not, hard working enough to play in the midfield for Liverpool. He's not quick enough to play up front on the wing or anything. So he's a hard one to break into our squad. But he does do numbers, so I'd be surprised if he settled on less than double figures on him. Again, with a hefty sell-on clause, I'll be looking at it, because he's not that old, isn't he? Not Harry Wilson.
23. He was in that same sort of age bracket with Ryan Kent, Shea Ojo. Yeah. Those kind of that sort of academy, they came up together, and obviously Ryan Kent's gone to Rangers. Ojo's still at the club.
Kev says in the chat, Kev O'Sullivan says he'd be ideal for Palace. I don't think he would be, Kev. Again, this is it. The type of wingers that Crystal Palace have had in recent times have been very direct and pacey. I think Harry Wilson isn't direct and pacey. Like, to be blunt, I think he's more I think he thinks of himself more as a cultured wide player.
Yeah.
Likes to get on the ball, play make. And I don't think that's what Crystal Palace. Well, they may change under
Well,
Vieira,
That's
but
what I was
I
going
don't
to
think.
say. What way
Yeah,
would Vieira play with Nice?
yeah,
Is,
yeah.
is,
They've
it,
made
is it
some
an interesting one that it's moving away from the direct, the Andros Townsend, who's getting a lucrative move to the Ev, and Zaha and the likes? Maybe it is one to go. But look, it might sound harsh, but I don't think he's good enough for us. So I think whatever we can get on him now, we should have sold him last season
Yeah.
when his price was probably at a higher level, and there was a lot of teams interested. But I think he done okay at Cardiff, and we shouldn't have any problem moving him on. But we just need to be ruthless and move him. So it looks like he could be next out the door.
Well, this is a good shout from IndieB. He says maybe Burnley come back in for him because there's a lot of noise about McNeil leaving.
Where's he being linked to?
Oh, I can't remember the club. It may have been Aston Villa. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But there were strong noises about McNeil leaving. And if that's the case, then maybe Burnley may reignite their interest in him and create a bit of an auction. But I think Fulham is quite advanced from what I've heard as well.
Yeah.
That Fulham is quite advanced in talks with them. But again, I'm with you, Keith. I just don't think the kid had a future with us. He was probably at one of Avi's one to watch a few years ago.
He was. You know what?
There you go.
He was. He had a good spell with Derby when Mason Mount was the result the same season under Lampard. He just didn't flourish and push on. But no, I think he'll get a good move and he'll have an okay career in football. So there's no worries. But yeah, he was one of my. There's an old tweet going around of mine, which was retweeted the other day since 2016. He was on my top list as one to break through. And
I've got a huge list. I've got a huge list of yours. Don't worry about that. I'll be revealing all one by one over the summer. But another one that you mentioned, Keith, was Phillips.
Yeah,
and we know that Phillips. I think we're asking clubs to make an offer that will make it difficult for us to say no, which in effect means he's for sale. So, and the fact that he wasn't risked today.
Yeah,
because even though he's fit,
that's telling.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty telling. And again, I think Brighton have been very strongly linked with him, and again, that would be a fantastic move for him as an individual. What do you think, guys? I mean, I think.
But Grizz, does Davis get promoted to fifth choice then? Because that worries me a little bit. If we're getting rid of Phillips and then Davis is fifth choice,
So this is based on all the scouting reports I read of Davis before he came to Liverpool, and then disappeared off the face of the earth since January. And this is so based off that, and based off him just the 30 minutes today, I think, in my opinion, Davis would suit us more than Phillips overall in a long-term season if everything goes to plan. Fifth choice, I'd be as equally as happy with Phillips or Davis from what I know of him and what people have said about Davis.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
The thing with Davis, the overriding thing with Davis is he's quick. And that's what people who've seen him in the championship and people who've seen him play, they all say, he can play left full because he has pace. And maybe I think Nat Phillips has done a great job for us, to be honest. I think he was excellent last season, and people don't like to hear that. They think you're a top red and you only support English players and all this sort of carry on. It's not that. He came into a team that was an absolute basket case, and he made a career for himself. And if he moves to Brighton or wherever it is that he ends up, I think it's great for the fella. I think that's what it's all about. That's what dreams are made of for some kids that aren't good enough for the top. We talk about Harry Wilson, maybe his stock may be dropping over the years of not getting a move. Marco Grujic as well, loan, and eventually are in a no man's land. Phillips was in no man's land and came out of nowhere and is in a position now where, I think he's more chance of making a Premier League career than Harry Wilson, personally. I don't know what you guys think. I just think he's done his stock no harm whatsoever.
Yeah, Avi, do you want to say something, or do you want to just?
No, I agree. No, I agree. I think Phillips will get a move. I think Brighton's a good fit, considering that Graham Potter is there and the way he sort of brought this Brighton team on. They try to play football on the deck. They do play good football, and he's got youngsters with him as well. And with the stuff that he's done with Tariq Lamptey, Basuma, he's got a nucleus of players there that he's done, and obviously the progression of Ben White. I think Phillips would be a good fit for them, and they've got Lewis Dunk as well to guide him. So Lewis Dunk's what, 30, 31?
So did you say he'd be a good fit as well for Brighton?
I think he would, because Grizz. I
asked Keith. I got your opinion just now. Keith, did you think Brighton as well?
I think he'd be a good fit. I think he'd be all right. A lot of people are saying Brighton play a high line, and he'd be exposed with his pace.
I'm shocked at Brighton going for him.
Brighton play a fucking left full who's 6'7".
I was going to touch on that. So even though Brighton play like minimum 6'4" centre backs, right? They're all like monsters, aren't they? Lewis Dunk, the fella that you said, Adam Webster.
Is that Adam Webster?
Yeah, is Adam Webster, and the guy, So, but if you've noticed, they are very good on the ball for their size, right? Now, Phillips, talking about his strengths, and he's got loads, and I absolutely echo everything that you said, Keith, about Phillips. But I don't think he's as good as those fellas on the ball. He tries and he improved.
Yeah,
absolutely improved. But those guys, I found watching them last couple of seasons, they were decent on the ball. So I'm slightly surprised that Graham Potter's actually targeting him. But listen, hey,
they're gonna have a £50 million chunk of change, aren't they, and born in a hole in their pocket? And if they can probably look and say, right, if we get Nat Phillips for, I'm going to say 15 million, I think he's worth 15 million, and we sell, similar with Burnley, people go on about, Tarkowski and May, are great centre halves. Well, they weren't great centre halves. They developed into great centre halves. Do you know what I mean? James Tarkowski played for Oldham, and Ben Mee was released by Man City. You know what I mean? And they came up and established themselves, sort of, and made Lewis Dunk as another one. You know what I mean? Like he's a good player now, but he wasn't always, a top centre half, or he wouldn't be at Brighton. So I just think,
and you're right, because all of them developed at this age where Nat Phillips is not quite there yet. So all the players that you've mentioned are around, I believe, 27, 28 now. Yeah. And Nat Phillips is sort of getting to that age where he needs to play a couple of seasons of regular Premier League football to progress into the levels of those players that you mentioned.
And with Nat Phillips as well. Nat Phillips, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows. Nat Phillips missed the year of his career when he was 16, 17 because he broke a bone in his back. It was a bad injury. He broke a vertebrae or something like that. And someone correct me if I'm wrong.
He's had a few bad injuries though.
Yeah, but he was a late developer, Avi. Even in the Bolton youth teams, and his father was a manager there. He didn't sign his forms at the same time that his colleagues did. He went on and he wanted to go to college or university and all that. Like he wasn't as focused on getting to the end and being a footballer. He seemed to take a different route and to go a long way around. So I think Nat Phillips now, I think he knows he can still develop. He's not going to get quicker. We know he's not going to get quicker. Can he get better on the ball? I think he can get better on the ball.
100%.
But, I think when we look at it and we rule him out of teams, and I've seen a lot of people rule him out of Burnley because, he's not at the level of Tarkowski or me. But as I said, they didn't get signed at that level. And I think, he's given himself a chance to get a really good move. So do you think it's Brighton for Nat, or do you see anyone else that'll come in from Grizz?
I think Brighton is the most advanced from what we read. I don't know. I don't have any information on it, but from what we've read from reliable journalists such as Neil Jones, Brighton are pretty much the most interested in. I think Burnley were as well, but it's one of those where I think the player will dictate this one.
Yeah,
we discussed this before. I think the player will dictate what happens. We're happy to keep him, but we're also happy to release him if he's okay with going. And I think he'll probably want to go.
Fair play to him. I think he's earned it.
Oh yeah.
at this stage. So we've a super chat in from NBA, 21 million so far, and he's listing a few players. So let me know what you think it is, whether you think they go or stay, and if the price is fair. So Origi for 10 million. Abby, go, you take it away, Abby.
Big shout out to Billy. Yeah, 20 million's made so far. Origi 10 million, Shaq 12, Nat 13, Wilson 9, Nico 7, Lewis 1, Kane. I think Kane's gone. Herbie Kane, Ojo, Karius. Thoughts? Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's okay. I think those estimations are right. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, Karius,
we won't get anything.
We can't even shift him for free right now.
We'll either on his contract or he'll be there for another year and then released. Would say.
I think they're spot on. I think they're very, very realistic.
Sepp Vandenberg 4 million. He's not going anywhere.
No, I think we still have belief in Sepp Vandenberg. That
Preston love him. Preston last season, the back end of the last 6 months, they absolutely were raving about him. Their fan base were raving about Sepp Vandenberg. The only thing is, like Woodburns and Ojo, like let's actually get rid of them this season because they've been on peripheral loans, and Woodburn's been out to Blackpool where Neil Critchley was. Is it Neil Critchley who was the old?
Neil Critchley is at Blackpool.
Yeah,
is that where Woodburn wasn't there? Was he?
Yeah, Woodburn was the on loan. Yeah,
was he?
It didn't work out for him, and he's come
at
back.
Oxford, wasn't he as well?
Oxford as well. Yeah.
So Woodburn is with the squad right now, but he again another one who wasn't used at all in either game.
Yeah. And you would have thought he would be ahead of some of the young lads that played
that you mentioned in that first half.
Yeah, it's interesting. But look, they seem decent enough prices. Do you see Origi and Shaq both going in this window, lads?
I think Shaq is happy to go, and because he knows he won't see much game time, and of course he's a fully fledged international, so he wouldn't want to, hamper any chances.
I think he needs to be a big fish, doesn't he? I'm not saying Lazio are a small pond, but if he goes to Lazio, he'll probably be given the keys of the house and told, you just get in that role. And
I think there's slight concern when it comes to Shaq. I think there's slight concerns with these calves, his injuries as well. He does pick up these niggling injuries, and you think he gets them sorted out, and he doesn't. Like there's times last season, even the 18-19 season, where he's just his legs or he had issues with his calves that were just letting him down. So there is those issues with Shaq. But I mean, Origi, that's the $1 million question, is it, whether we can get rid of him or not? But like I said, he doesn't want to leave. So
the story with Origi is we've had suitable bids for him that we are ready to accept. We've made that clear to his agent and himself, and he's got no desire. And I think even if I stopped at he's got no desire, that would have been enough. I wouldn't need to talk about anything else, but he's got no desire to leave. And that's slightly concerning, especially we're trying to get rid of him. But hopefully we come to an agreement with him and his agent that, please, for the life of us, just go now, kind of thing. I'm sorry if it comes across rude and sort of ungrateful. I'm not. I'm absolutely grateful for what he's done for us. He's an absolute cult hero, but he needs to get the fuck out.
Before we move on, just give me a sec. Someone's saying we need to read out Kieran Thorne's chat. What
he said something about Sienna. Once we get to 11k, he will match the Daytrippers donation of £100. So Kieran Thorne will match our donation once we hit 11k subscribers.
Top man, Kieran, top man. He's always there when it comes to these things.
Absolutely.
He was led from the front with the Keane stuff as well. And look, it's great to have people like Kieran in the chat. And a lot of others, not just Kieran. There's a lot. We say all the time, our chat, the community in there, they're a very knowledgeable bunch and a very kind bunch when it comes to these things. So we appreciate all the support and fair play to Kieran. Top man as usual with that sort of thing. And we'll discuss the end before we go. But lads, people don't want to hear about outgoings. You want to hear about incomings, but it's all quiet on that front at the moment, isn't it? And it's going to be a case of these moves happening before, and people give out and say it's a buy to sell, it's a buy to sell. I think it's just a trimming of the squad. That's what I think is happening rather than buy to sell. I think we're getting rid of these lads and then we're going to bring in. But, you know, is there any links out there that you can see? Some people are talking about Saul accelerating now that the exits are starting to happen. Others are saying United are going to sign Saul. If it comes down to money, we won't be signing Saul. Look, it's as clear as that. You know, we want players that want to play for us. And if he goes to Manchester United because they're offering double what we'll offer him, we're not going to, you know, be offering him more money just to get him. Where do you think that one goes, Avi? Where do you think the Saul one goes? Do you see a player like that coming to Liverpool, or was that just, you know, we got caught up in a rumour and there's nothing really to it, or can you see him going to Barca, or what do you see with Saul Niguez?
I always thought the Atletico Barcelona stuff, it didn't make sense to me on a financial aspect. It didn't make any sense. I think if we have a genuine interest in Saul, which I believe we do, and he's happy, and you know he's been waxing lyrical off Liverpool over the last few years with Gerrard being his idol and whatnot, and loves the way we played, the way we pressed, the intensity, the crowd at Anfield. Saul will be a Liverpool player regardless of what Manchester United do. He will look at the project. Klopp will just have to have one word with him, and he will be a Liverpool player if we, you know, push on with our interest. I do believe there's genuine interest, but, you know, we also are known as scroungers as well, so we need to pay up what Atletico want and take it from there.
Grizz, we've seen this with Thiago last summer. All of a sudden, Manchester United wanted to jump in and sign Thiago, and at the time we done a lot of shows about this at the time. And one of the overriding things that came out of that was, where was Thiago going to fit into a Manchester United team? Do you know what I mean? When they had Pogba and they had Bruno and they signed Donny van de Beek as well. Where does Saul fit into a Manchester United midfield? Because the same situation is there now, I think. To me, and look, you can't have too many good players. We know that. But surely Man U need a defensive midfielder more so than another maybe a creative or box-to-box type of player that Saul is. Do you think it's just paper talk, or do you think there's some substance to the United links?
So we know Man United wanted Saul last season, but they ended up with Van de Beek. So the profile of player, even though one's left-footed, right-footed, but you can see the profile, both box-to-box. They're very good technically, so they went for the Van de Beek option. I think the dilemma for Man United, very quickly get them out of the way, is that the Pogba dilemma. Like, if he goes, then they will need someone. If Pogba stays, then you can't see them, especially thereafter, Trippier and Varane. You can't see them going, Pogba is off to PSG, that's the talk. But with regards to Saul and us, I've got a bit of an update, a slight update. Now, I didn't even tell you guys about this update beforehand. So this is one of those But so a very good friend of mine knows is on talking terms with Xavi, the famous, amazing Xavi the Barcelona, himself, who's very close to Saul. And so the story, as far as I'm concerned, what I've been told is Saul 100% wants Liverpool. His heart is set on Liverpool. He has even spoken to Jurgen Klopp, but unfortunately, our initial bid that we did make was way below what Atletico wanted or required. So that was about 2 weeks ago. And there's nothing Saul can do anymore after that. It's, as Avi says, we've got to put up the money. And if we put up the money or come even remotely close to sort of the kind of money Atletico want, as Avi says, there's no issue with Saul and his side. He's an absolute, his hero and idol is Steven Gerrard. Like, you know, he absolutely loves, adores Steven Gerrard. Kieran Thorne says Saul has taken the same approach as Thiago. The difference was, as we exclusively revealed on last season's Transfer Agenda shows, the deal with Thiago was agreed and it was a formality and it was all about timing. Unfortunately, with Saul, it's not a deal. It's not a done deal. Our valuation was a fair way below Atletico's, but in terms of the player, in terms of Klopp wanting him, there's absolute definite interest, and we have to be patient. And do you remember we spoke about, guys, that there's players becoming available that are making us think, not only us, every club is going through the same thing. I believe we had a deal agreed with another central midfielder. I believe Avi's a huge fan who broke that news, I think. But since the news of Saul being available, we've had to sort of assess the situation. This is the best way to look at it. So, but yeah, that's one to keep an eye on. It's literally see if we can fund the deal by shifting a few bodies, unwanted bodies. In terms of how he fits, we've spoken about it. I think Saul fits into our team, fits into our squad, our work ethic, team ethic, absolutely everything. I think Saul, with all the names that have been linked with midfield, I'd say for me, Saul is my favorite player that I'd like, just ahead of Bissouma.
Yeah. Who was the one, Avi, that you broke the deal? That was
Florian Neuhaus.
I'm a huge fan of Neuhaus, I have to say. I think, you know, the players that are getting linked, I briefly we'll talk about the guys that were linked. So we went through the summer and we were looking at Bissouma was linked. I'm not a big fan of Bissouma. I think he's a good player, but you know, I just don't think he's maybe what we need. I think he's a good player, but I think he's sort of a very much a one type of player, one trick pony. A lot of people disagree with that, and that's fine. I'm not, you know, telling people they're wrong. That's just my opinion. Then we were linked with Neuhaus, and we were linked with Renato Sanchez, and we were linked with all these players. And I like the profile of these players. I think you know, that they're good fit. Scott Williger saying Barella. I don't think Barella was ever really a strong link, but he has been linked. But I liked all that. And then the Saul one came, right? And that blew everything out of water, because you bring in a Saul, and we said, Tielemans is another area. You bring in a Saul, and I think you're getting a world-class ready midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the others are not. And I think, you know, if Liverpool were to pull this one off, it'd be huge. It would be huge. And people say, it doesn't fit in with the model of FSG. But we saw with Thiago last season that, you know, for the right player, they will do the business. And I think if they can get this over the line, and look, if Manchester United end up signing Saul, I'm still going to say he's a great player. I just think he fits what we're looking for better than what I think Manchester United will be looking for. So I'm hoping that one goes over the line. But if it doesn't, I'm sure we will get a competent midfielder. And Neuhaus would be, in my opinion, I take Neuhaus over the likes of Tielemans, because I think the money for Tielemans you're talking it's too expensive for what he is. I don't think he's that good a player for the money being quoted, and that's just my take on Tielemans, where you get half the price, you get Neuhaus, and I think that's a better business and a better deal. Mikey Day saying Saul was poor last season. Look, a lot of players were poor. You know, I think it's an intense team, Atletico Madrid, and I think he might have just had a little bit of a dip. And I think Simeone was playing different cats and all that, and it was just a bit of an off time.
I think for the last 18 months, he's needed to move away from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
He needs a fresh start. And I think the Premiership suits his game to a T. Like, he would come in and settle straight away. He's not a player that would need time or months like some of our players have needed, like a Robbo or a Fabinho. He comes in and settles in our, you know, team straight away, you know, and I think he's needed to move away. I think sometimes Simeone's style can stifle individuals like João Felix. And I think Saul's another one. The last 18 months, he's sort of caught in the middle when he's playing in that Simeone system. So I think it's I don't want to say it, but it's a match made in heaven if he came to Liverpool under a Klopp. Like, you know, he would elevate his game even further.
You're spot on, Avi, because sometimes you do need a move, and top players do need a move. And I just think, you know, Simeone, as you said, he's an intense manager, isn't he? And he puts a lot on them, as does Klopp. But Klopp will smile and hug them at the end, whereas like Simeone will more likely to push them and throw a dig at them while celebrating with them, you know, and that can take its toll on you after a while. And it's not to say there's nothing wrong with Simeone. He's a very successful manager. I'm a big fan. But maybe it is just a case of a new challenge for Saul is needed. hopefully we'll see some movement on that soon. But another name that's cropped up, that's cropped back up, and I know you two aren't overly keen on this. It's going back to our old friends at Watford, and Ismaila Sarr has popped back up again. Do we think there's any thought, any real any chance of that one happening? Grizz, I'll come to you. Do you think Ismaila Sarr is an option for us up top, or do you think we're looking at bigger and better players than that?
I'd say it's difficult to see that one now. I know for a fact that we made a bid for him before we made the bid for Jota.
Yeah.
So he was our first choice. But of course, we know that we couldn't agree a payment structure with Watford. We were able to agree a very favourable structure with Jota, and the rest is history. So Watford made it difficult last season when they were in the Championship. Realistically, are they going to make life easier now that they're in the Premier League, or will they make it harder? Logic dictates that they will make it harder. I can't see us, if we couldn't agree with them last season, agreeing with us. Again, Ismaila Sarr was very much up for moving to us, very close with Sadio Mane.
He loves Mane.
But this is hero, it's his hero. But I can't see us. I can't see us going back in for him. That would be very, very surprising to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna just throw this comment up. Jeremiah was on, I think, last night, and on Sunday on the Fatback Forward, and he kept asking. I only seen it back afterwards. Why don't we sign players straight from South America? I think that's all down to work permit issues and all that, isn't it? You know, it's to get. And I'm assuming he means, Lautaro Martinez, when he went to Inter Milan, was on the cusp of being a superstar and sort of pushed through that barrier. When you're signing young players into England, the work permit issues and all scupper that. We've seen with Awoniyi that he's had to go on loan for 6 years, 6 years before he could get his work permit. I just think it's too much of a hassle. I know, unless you're signing a player like Man City did with Gabriel Jesus and sort of made that he's an exceptional talent, and if they don't have the required caps, and I don't know if that rule has changed in the last few years with Brexit, I don't know what's going on with it now, but it used to be, they had so many caps within a 2-year period. But unless they were an exceptional talent that they were going to push, and City made the argument about Jesus, they were able to do that. Otherwise, you're just bringing them in and you're constantly loaning and they can fall through. We had done it with Alan Rodriguez, famously.
Yeah.
Alan Rodriguez was one that we came, and Klopp, when he first came in, thought this fella was as good as Xavi and Iniesta, and just...
He had about 6-7 loans, didn't he? 6-7 loans.
And he was going all over the place, Finland and Belgium and everywhere, and...
We've been stung a few times like that as well. We can go back in history if you wanted to. We've always get stung like with these kind of players who come from South America with a big reputation, and we can't even get a work permit for them. And then they go on like 6-7 loans to the Finland league, and then still don't get a permit for them. And then we've got to let them go on a free. So
was Mark Gonzalez one of them? Did we have
Mark Gonzalez? Yeah, he went to Albacete under Rafa.
Yeah. Because and that's a Chilean international, so you can they don't have to. If you're signing a player from Chile or Uruguay, there's probably a clear path to the national team. But if you're doing it from Argentina or Brazil, you have to be getting a gem. Do you know what I mean? To say, look, this guy can get straight into the Liverpool setup. Chris Brack is saying there, Leto as well was another one. Sebastian Leto came in from Banfield, I think, and just went. That was a Lanos, Lanos, that's right, and ended up going out on loan as well. There's been so many of them. Unless you're buying a player that's, really you can make it. Like even Man City done it with Douglas Luiz, didn't they? They brought him in, but they had to loan him out, and eventually he gets Brazil caps. He's at Aston Villa, he's doing well. It's a hard one to do. I mean, there's great talent in South America. We done the show with 5 yards about picking up gems, and you get them for nothing. There's a guy over in Uruguay playing in one of the smaller teams in Uruguay called Matias Arizo, and I think he's going to be a new Luis Suarez. He's only 18, I think, at this stage, and this young fella is the business.
Do you remember we had
Europe and build up his profile?
Relevant to what you guys are talking about, do you remember we had Steve, the Man City fan, on Carnage a couple of weeks back, and he was talking about the Brazilian link up with a lot of Brazilian, the Man City link up with Brazilian youngsters. It'd be interesting to see how they get on in terms of work permits and how they
play with their rules, don't they?
There you go.
But it's an interesting one. Look, I'm a big fan of South American football, as a lot of people know, and
I wouldn't have guessed. Really?
You'd never have guessed, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just it's links that come and go, and any through the Coyo Jorge links to us. So I wouldn't have thought so. I've seen him linked with. I think I've seen him linked with
Milan. It's fallen through though. It's fallen through that.
Has it? He's a great talent, that young fella, but it'll be interesting to see. But another name that was thrown into the chat there, lads, was Donyell Malen. Constantly getting linked with us, and it's back up again now. Do we see Malen happening, or is he nailed onto Dortmund?
Go on, Avi, you haven't spoken for about 3 minutes.
100% no. We're not going to get Donyell Malen. It's purely because of Mino Raiola, and no one can tell me otherwise.
You think that's a non-runner?
Non-runner. It has been from day one. I know people say that we have been in. Look, he's a player. Of course, we'd be interested in him, but I just don't see how we get through Mino Raiola.
But it wouldn't see that doesn't make sense what you said there, because if we know he's a Mino Raiola player, there's no interest in him. So the fact that there's interest in him. So let me elaborate. So there's a fact that there's interest in him shows that we can work through the agent. It's just I don't think Mino Raiola, Donyell Malen was ever one of the priorities as a striker. That's what it is. I don't think it's. Look, from what you're saying, we'll never ever entertain Mino Raiola.
Let's see. I'm yet to see it. We haven't seen it yet.
Gravenberch's name is getting, linked around an awful lot. I think if you want to sign these players, you're gonna have to deal with Mino at some stage.
When you're a business, and Avi often talks about how clever FSG are and how smart they are and how business savvy they are, and he often talks about what they've done for us in terms of sort of commercially and all around the world, everything they've done. You don't rule out working with someone who represents some of the best talent in world football just because of a spat with the manager. It just doesn't work like that. Jurgen Klopp is way too smart and clever as well to hold grudges like that as well, in my opinion.
Like that spat that you spoke about there, Grace, that was a ridiculous thing by Mino Raiola. It was about Mario Balotelli, and he tried to claim Klopp was racist and all, didn't he? Saying that, he won't get a game, I won't play him and all this. And Mario Balotelli never fit Jurgen Klopp. It was the most obvious transfer when Klopp took over that you could see. And Raiola sort of went on. But that's the problem with Raiola. When you're dealing with him, you're dealing with a guy that's going to cause issues whenever things don't go his client's way. But if you're bringing in let's say Malen or a Gravenberch, right? They're youngsters. They're not as high profile as is Erling Haaland's and Paul Pogba
But Keith, he wants Donyell Malen on like 135k a week already at 18-19. We're not going to pay that.
No, we won't pay that. Well, we would give him that on bonuses and all that, and he won't accept that, because that means you have to work. He wants the big money from the off, and that's his job. And we spoke about it during the night, but it's a risky business.
Gravenberch, he's 19. I'm sure we like him, but he's gonna want 160, 70 plus K a week for his client. That's the sad reality of it. They shouldn't be on that kind of money, but that's the sad reality.
The thing with the Dutch league, I always say this: the wages are so low. When we signed Luis Suarez, I think when he came to us, he was only on something like 28, 29 grand a week. Not even that, because I remember seeing a thing about his fine, and I couldn't believe how low.
He was on like 6k a week at Groningen. Then he went to on 15k a week at Ajax.
And we got him on really, really low wages. And I think like the Serginho Dest stuff has come out. He was only on 8 grand or something, and then went to Barcelona. Frankie de Jong was on low wages and gets 400k a week now. So I suppose they are seeing instances where these guys are having massive jumps. But maybe there is an opportunity to do something. I don't know. I think Malen, to me, goes to Dortmund. Grizz, what do you think? Dortmund for Malen?
Yeah, I think it's near enough. I mean, again, even Dortmund's Michael Zorc, is it? Zorc, came out and said, "Look, we've got to be sensible, have a value that we're worth, that we see it's worth. If not, then we won't bid." But I think the noises from reliable Dutch outlets are that there will be something agreed with them. with Dortmund, and that's probably his level. I mean, Dortmund are a very good team, and Malen is a very good player. So I'm not
they're
saying
a stepping stone, aren't they?
It's a great move for him, though. It is a great move for him.
It is a great move.
Going to Dortmund, learn his craft for another year or so, and then go from and under
at the top level.
Marco Rose as well.
Level. Yeah.
If you're going to play for a manager right now in Europe, it's probably Marco Rose at Dortmund. So it's a good move for him.
It is, because they'll be challenging for the Bundesliga. They'll be playing regular Champions League, and it's not like it's the highest profile of club. And it's a nice little move. Another super chat in from NBA before we finish up. Keita and Ox stay. Saul and Neuhaus or Sanchez and Auer. Think we need 2 in midfield and a centre forward or wing forward. Marcus Thuram, Cunha, Luis Diaz or Bodell. Moiran Bodell was a great player, a young striker in Holland. Or Malen to BVB. Yeah, okay, a lot going on there.
Luis Diaz, without question. Luis Diaz fan.
Luis Diaz fan. People don't know he's the Colombian winger, plays for Porto.
I think he's on that cusp to go to that next level, but I don't think Porto's the right club. I think he will leave Porto though, but he's one to watch out for sure.
Just my opinion. Look, Billy's saying that Saul and Neuhaus, in terms of we need 2 central midfielders. I don't think we've got much time. I think we forgot to, or maybe we've spoken about Hendo in previous other shows. I think the forum spoke about him last night. So, if there was a situation, which there isn't and there won't be, where Hendo was sold and Gini was sold, and then you'd say, right, we need 2 central midfielders. But the fact that Henderson won't be going anywhere, in my opinion, is very difficult to see Liverpool getting 2 central midfielders. There's definitely one. And out the strikers, Marcus Thuram, again, we had definite interest in Marcus Thuram last season. I don't think anything came of it. We followed up the interest. And Luis Diaz, Avi's the one who told me about Luis Diaz in terms of he's a player, have a look at him, check him out. I done intense studying. I think
you're a fan now, are you?
I'm not a fan, but I think he's a very good player. I'm just not one of those ones, I'd want him at my club at all costs, whatever, one of those where you are. I think Luis Diaz is a very tidy, neat, clever, hard work. His South American ethics in him in terms of hard work, tenacious. He's got a bit of nastiness in him, as we saw in that game, didn't we, against Brazil? Yeah, fantastic potential. I just think, again, like what Avi says, go to maybe. The thing is, we're not in a position, I think some would disagree, we're not in a position where we can take a huge risk on our new forward. Like if we're going to replace Origi, Shaq, then we've got to replace him with someone who's going to be of use and, proven talent. In my opinion, I don't think we got this within a position to take too many of a risk. Luis Diaz may be a risk too much. Boadu, I'm a massive fan of Boadu. Avi knows I'm a massive fan of Boadu. But again, I think he's been linked with Dortmund as well. But obviously, you can't see them getting both. So Boadu, I haven't heard of any interest with Liverpool, but that's one player that you'd see big teams after.
People might know more than Boadu. He plays for AZ Alkmaar, isn't it?
That's right.
In Holland, and I remember Shawnee Lawson a while ago sort of threw in a chat about him, and he compared him to young Ronaldo, and not Cristiano Ronaldo, the proper Ronaldo, El Fenomeno. And when you look at it, he was very like Ronaldo playing at PSV. With this kid looks like he's an absolute potential to be brilliant, but a lot of these Dutch players can move too soon or can take that big jump maybe too soon. So maybe the likes of a Dortmund or a Bundesliga team might be the right move for him next before the move to Liverpool. I don't know. But it'll be interesting. Someone saying there about they was going to France. I don't know, maybe a Lille or one of these, but they don't have a pot to piss in. I'll be surprised if
that's a surprising one if that happens. Yeah, you'd think.
It would be surprising. But look, who knows? We'll wait and see. Is there any other links that we can talk about, lads, for coming in that we like I said, it's all quiet, isn't it, at the moment until the
best way. Even
space.
though for content creators like ourselves, you know, we'd love to talk about so many links and what could happen, what can happen, throwing out names willy nilly. But I think I know a lot of work is being done, and I don't know. It's a difficult time as fans because, again, as I said, because of the season we've had. The disaster of the injuries and everything, then the debacle in January. So, I from one angle, I can see the reason for the frustration and impatience, but I think we'll be satisfied. I think we'll be fine. We'll get a central midfielder and attacker, and then we'll attack the season. I don't know what Avi thinks.
Yeah. Before we answer that, Kieran B says a Dutch lad told me to watch out for Boudou and some other bloke called Stengsman or something. It's Calvin Stengs, from AZ Alkmaar.
A great system going there. Nice. I think they've confirmed Justin Kluivert as well under Christoph Gaultier as well. They're a team to watch next season.
Be interesting, some good talent in there. But yeah, it's all go. So sorry for cutting across just there, boys. What was that?
No, I was just asking Avi.
I think there's been we've mentioned it every week now. It's mayhem right now on Twitter. It's best to stay away. Keep patient. The departures are happening, and I'm sure we'll get the incomings that we all want. We're linked with quality. The one thing I would worry about is if we weren't being linked with quality players. But the players that are in discussion, that you would imagine, the reports that are coming out from the media and whatnot, they're all quality players, and I still believe, and I'll say it since I've been saying it since the end of the season, we'll be happy this summer. We'll be happy with the acquisitions and the signings that we've made, and just push forward for the first game of the season, which is 5 weeks away, I believe now.
I mean, the window shuts in 6 weeks. We're not even. We've just started the window. It's literally 6 weeks. And I don't get it. I don't get this sense of entitlement from certain fans that demand to know of links. That doesn't make sense. You'd rather demand that by the end of the window we have a squad capable of challenging for the title. That's what we should demand. Not demand to know about links. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. That's just fucking your own mind up.
It's our program now, isn't it, Grizz? It's all about, links. You see these things on Twitter about, what's it, they're calling Liverpool now, Interested FC or something like that. Interest FC. Forget about all that.
I keep calming you. I keep telling you to relax in the WhatsApp. Stop talking with these. What's the word? This new generation.
Anti-red bastards, maybe. I don't know what you want to.
No, it's not that. It's not that. No, it's not that. It's these givers of names. It's boredom. It's just holiday season. Interested FC, monitoring FC. What else is there? There's other names that I've given to Reds as well, but let them. I absolutely agree, and I'm adamant. I'd go mad. I literally would. I'd do everything that I possibly could to go mad, like jump up and down and punch the wall. And what else can we do if we don't sign a central midfielder and an attacker? There's nothing else we can do, really. Just get angry, right? So exactly. So that's the worst that we can do. The best we can do is chill out, relax, have a mango lassi, have a jalebi.
Couple of watch-alongs, Chris. Couple of watch-alongs in the coming weeks.
Watch-alongs, relax out. Yeah,
everyone's a winner. Shawnee Lawson in the chat. Good Stella Maris. I played for them. Keith. We spoke about all the Ireland internationals who played for them, and there we go. Shawnee Lawson played for them as well. So good stock there.
That tops it all, doesn't it? That tops it all.
There you go.
Exactly.
Who needs Johnny Jules when you have Shawnee Lawson?
Keith Andrews when you got Shawnee Lawson. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Good stuff. So, lads, I think we leave it there. We're an hour and a half in. Before I was getting all uppity about watch-alongs about fucking Panama and Honduras and all this sort of stuff. So before he talks us into doing some watch-along for a Gold Cup game, I think we'll leave it there. So, look, Grizz, thanks for jumping on a late edition. We weren't expecting you. We didn't know. You left us guessing. But it's always a pleasure when you jump onto these things, brother.
Oh, mate, always. When I found out the lineup was Keith and Avi, I said, I'm not missing out on two absolute gems like that. But I thought, I received a bit of information in terms of In terms of Saul's very good mate Xavi, who says that the player is ready and is just waiting for the go-ahead, and which means trying to get an agreement with Liverpool and Atletico. So I thought I'd come and give you guys that little golden nugget. Get me?
I like that. Yeah, why not? Why not? Always a pleasure. Avi, it was meant to be just me and you. Chris jumped in, but you know, it would have been great without him. But he did bring a bit of bleeding. He brought a bit of gravitas with him to the show, so we can't really complain too much, can we?
No, I thought it was going to be my moment to shine on my own today, but no, he has to. The Grizzly Bear has to always interrupt and just boss himself in. But no, it's been a good one, lads. Again, look, just got to keep patient and off and away. And I think we've got I'm surprised you didn't mention it, but we've got a Carnage on Thursday, Chris.
Yeah, we have.
Good.
Always, the Carnage Thursdays. It's the big one.
I'll start on the agenda tonight then.
There you go. Avi's the agenda maker there. Before we finish up, lads, Dean Horgan through in the super chat. Thanks very much, Dean. Before we finish up, would you be happy with Malen and Saul? One more.
Well, we've decided between us that Malen's an absolute no-go.
But he's just asking us, would you be happy? Yes, 100%.
Would you be happy if we managed to get in front and they were the two that we brought in forget about where Malen goes. Would you be happy if we done those two on top of Kanate?
Yes.
Okay. No.
That's fine. That's
fine. I mean, I tried to give it context, but
you're a Malen fan, though. You're a Malen fan.
But I want to be happy with Malen, as I said, from what I know who we want.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone's louder.
You'd be more interested in Vlahovic, would you, Grizz, or is he still too much of a pro?
I think Vlahovic is an absolute beast in the making, Keith.
Yeah.
I really do. He's something totally different to what we've got, isn't he? He's totally different to what we've got. Even today, I was watching and I was thinking, there was balls being fizzed across. Harvey Elliott got into some positions where he fizzed some balls across, and Tsimikas was dropping some crosses in, and there was no presence. My God, this guy's got some presence, and I think he's worth taking a punt.
Yeah, indeed. Before we finish up, Avo says, mention the New Look show tomorrow. Yeah, Jamie's midweek fix is going to be on. I may be going on that, and Gav will be on it, I'm sure. We're going to trial the new software and the new look that we're going for, and hopefully it'll work. It might be a few teething issues, but we'll sort them out as they go. But look, the Gav is putting in a lot of work.
Are we doing the new software and Carnage this week?
No, we're not.
No,
me and you ain't ready for that, Chris. No. That's too technical for us. Too many click buttons. Yeah.
I think the world's not ready. The world is not ready.
The debut is tomorrow, I believe, though.
He's only testing it live tomorrow, just to see how it looks and that. So Carnage might be a couple of weeks away. But look, Gav is putting in a great shift, getting all this stuff together, and we say it all the time, but he puts in the graft getting this, and hopefully it looks good and the work he's putting in, hopefully it pays off, because it's going to elevate the show a bit, I think, for next season. Not from our point of view. It's great for us, but it'll be great for the viewers, and I think it's going to really help, So hopefully it goes smoothly. But anyway, we've got the midweek fix tomorrow. We've got Carnage on Thursday. I'm not sure your Friday thing isn't starting, is it? When are we starting that, the lacrosse special?
Not yet. I think it's going to be sometime I think the first week of August, I believe, is the debut show of the Sports Unplugged. Do I get support? No, the last thing I want is you. This is my time to shine. But no, just
first show.
Please, guys, please support, and
we'll all be begging Avi to get on to this one. We'll all be looking to get on this.
Maybe a Olympics watch along this weekend. I'm going to try to force Keith and Grizz on this one. So yeah,
Gav is the one you need to force. He does all the work.
Well, as long as you guys say yes, I'll get Gav.
Olympics was
Spain and Egypt first game. It's a good game. It's a good game. I'll give you the schedule, Grizz. Don't worry.
Right, we'll leave with that bombshell. Lads, thanks for joining me tonight. It's been a great show as always. Pleasure. And we'll see us all again soon. And thanks for everyone else for joining in the comments. Always a pleasure. And we'll be back tomorrow.